I think I'm crooked. It's okay. This is how we're gonna film. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Lo if you're new here. Thanks so much for hanging out. This video is going to be a little bit of on the personal side of the videos that I usually put out, and it's going to be about my hearing loss journey because I feel like that is an interesting topic and a lot of people might find that intriguing, so I'm here making a video about it, putting all my personal information out on the internet. I am currently 22 years old. I live on Oahu. I am hard of hearing. I've been exponentially losing my hearing since I was about 16. I've been sick with an eye disease since I was 13 years old. I've been doing like different medical trials and testing different medications, and when I was 16 we did a medical trial, and one of the side effects that we learned afterwards is hearing loss. So I've been losing hearing since I was 16. And I started wearing a hearing aid when I was 18. Yeah, I was 18 when I started wearing hearing aids. Within the past 4 years, I've had a bunch of different sets of hearing aids. I think at least 5. One of the first ones I started off with was this one. I don't know why I still have it, but it looks like this. I hated the way it looked, so I decorated it. I hated the way this felt on my ear. It didn't sit right, it wasn't fitted for my ear, so it was really uncomfortable, and I hated wearing them. I had a set after that, but I lost it, and now I have a different set. This is what the current ones look like. Your typical hearing aids are actually very expensive, especially when you're buying them from a third-party seller like I did. Mine were on the cheaper side, but the higher end can literally run up to like 8 grand. It depends on the technology, and most hearing aids are formed to fit your ear. But for those who can't afford that luxury, you get stuck with the skinny piece that goes all the way inside your ear canal like I do. So I'll take it out again so that I can show you guys exactly what I'm working with. Right here is the on and off switch. Here is where you can turn the volume up and down. And it's basically a microphone and an amplifier. And then wiring, and this is where the sound comes out. And this part's quite long and it goes all the way into my ear canal. And that's what it looks like. So that's pretty much it for the hearing aid. I did post a story on my Instagram the other day asking my friends to send in questions that they might have about my hearing loss and my hearing aid, but no one really sent me questions. I'm just gonna answer the ones that I did get, so shout out to my boyfriend Josh and Roxy. And I'm also gonna throw in some frequently asked questions that nobody sent to me, but I have been asked before. Can you hear anything without your hearing aid? Yes, I can, but not very much. The basis of what I can hear without my hearing aid depends on your voice and how well I know it. If I know your voice pretty well, then I don't really need my hearing aid, especially if it's just us and it's like a one-to-one setting and there's not that much background noise or any other sound going on. I would say maybe 85 to 90% of the time when I'm at home and it's just me and Josh, I don't wear my hearing aid. Sometimes I probably should, because every now and then he'll come up to me and be like, I was calling you, and I'll be like, no you weren't. I can hear a little bit without my hearing aid. When you wear a hearing aid, is everything just amplified? Pretty much, yeah. There's a little bit of background noise canceling technology that is really helpful, like when you are driving or when I'm working, because I work in a really loud restaurant and there's always music playing, so my hearing aid can sometimes help cancel that background noise out so that I can hear who I'm speaking with better. But yeah, pretty much. Does music sound the same with the hearing aid compared to before you needed one? No. Unfortunately not, no. When I started losing my hearing, I realized that sound, specifically music, is something that can be felt. I could listen to music with my earbuds on all the way up, like max volume. That's not very good for your ears, so I basically went from doing that to feeling the vibration of music, especially in cars. And we listen to the music pretty loud. So when you sit in a car and you listen to your music pretty loud, you can feel the music. And if I don't understand the words or I can't hear the words very well, I can always just look it up. So that's everything from Roxy. I hear another motorcycle. We're moving on to the questions that Josh asked me. His first question was, what other adjustments did you make to help you hear or understand people? I started lip reading before I started wearing hearing aids because that's just kind of what I resulted to. It was a really awkward learning process because oftentimes people would be like, she's staring at my mouth. This could be mistaken as a romantic sign, but it was never romantic and it just made everything really awkward. The biggest thing that I did was start lip reading and also using context clues and reading people's expressions. There's a lot of smaller things that people do that you notice when you can't hear them very well, and it helps you understand more of the situation. My top ones would be facial expression, body language. That's pretty much it, just those two. My second question from Josh is, did we go over this? Did you do anything to make lip reading easier, or did you just naturally get better with time? I didn't go out of my way and try to learn how to lip read. I think the only thing that helped me get better at lip reading was consistent conversation with said person and recognizing patterns in how people speak. People with heavy foreign accents are very hard for me to understand, especially if I don't know that person or know their voice. Practice helps. That would be my only advice in terms of lip reading. Two more questions that I have been asked before. How has losing your hearing affected your daily life? And the short and blunt answer is not by much. Not by very much. The only thing that kind of is a downer is I don't know my parents' voices very well because I don't live with them. When I'm talking to family that I don't see very often, you know, they're not used to me being hard of hearing, so they don't treat me as if I'm hard of hearing. And none of my family can sign. If I continue to lose all my hearing, then they're gonna have to, but as of right now, none of my family members know how to sign. I have been teaching my brother and sister a little bit here and there, but I also don't see them very often, and they don't keep up with it on their own. Do you have any more questions for me?
Name your pet peeves.
My pet peeves? Oh my god, that's a great question. Is that the only one?
What would you like for people that can hear know about people who cannot hear?
What do I wish hearing people knew about hard of hearing people?
Yeah.
Those are some really good questions. I'm glad you didn't wait until I was done to ask me that. Bye, Bubs. Mwah. I love you. Mwah.
Say hi to the vlog, Murphy.
Say hi to the vlog, Murphy. He doesn't like being carried. You're showing him at his weakest. You go outside. Okay, have fun. Make big poops. Okay, my pet peeves are a mile long. This is way shorter than a mile, but it's like way longer than this. This has happened so many times, but my biggest pet peeve is when I meet somebody new and they don't notice my aid at first, or I don't tell them immediately. You gotta speak up or look at me when you talk because it really helps me understand what you're trying to say, especially with the masks nowadays. The second somebody notices my hearing aid, or when I tell them that I am hard of hearing, they start yelling at me. Yelling, like I can see it in their body language and their expression, and I can hear them. They are yelling at me. What the fuck? I get it. I can understand kind of the thought process behind it. I met our new manager at work. Well, he said something to me first and I was like, sorry, what was that? I can't hear you. And he was like, oh, sorry, my name is Dan, like that. And I was like, y'all seeing this shit? I guess I appreciate the effort, but dude, you're scaring me. Anyways, another one of my pet peeves is when someone's like, well, you're not completely deaf, so you don't need a hearing aid. The name hearing aid should be self-explanatory. Basically, a hearing aid is meant to aid your hearing. So that's another one. I've seen deaf people and hard of hearing people be categorized as rude or blunt. That's another pet peeve because they're not necessarily rude or blunt when it comes to the topic of their hearing, but number one, it's personal, and number two, disabled people in general, they're kind of raised to advocate for themselves. Otherwise, how else are the able-bodied people or the able people supposed to know how to accommodate disabled people, if that makes any sense? Disabled people in general, they know how to advocate for themselves. That's all it really is. And you have to be straightforward or else you won't be taken seriously. So those are just some of my pet peeves, but I don't want to talk about that too much. I want to move on to the next question. What do I wish hearing people knew about hard of hearing or deaf people? That's kind of a long list, but to narrow it down a little bit, I would say I wish sign language was taught in schools, similarly to how we have Spanish option classes or French. I wish there was an American Sign Language course that people could take in high school. It could make public school and the general public way more accessible to deaf and hard of hearing people. I speak, but I can also sign, and I don't know anybody else who can sign. I know a lot of people who are trying and are learning. For the most part, it's hard to communicate with people. It sucks. And the last question would be, do you know how to sign? And the answer is yes. I'm always learning, but I know enough to communicate, so, which is important because I am a server and I work in customer service. It's not surprising that most of the time people who are a part of the deaf community or hearing impaired community, they don't come into my restaurant because it is a very public setting and you never know if there's going to be someone there who can sign or not, and most of the time there's not. So, but yeah, if you guys have any questions regarding anything that I talked about, definitely leave a comment down below. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have for you guys for this video. I'm thinking about making another video touching more about on things I wish hearing people knew about deaf or hard of hearing people, or I can do like signing videos. That's everything that I have for you guys for this one. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.